Hello, welcome to Lesson 20 on Design for Driving. Our lesson today is on signs, signals, and road markings. You'll remember on our lesson on IPDE, especially when we talked about identifying, we stated that road signs is one of the things out on the road that you really must be watching for and identifying at all times. Let's take a look first at road sign shapes. Howard?
Okay, Linda. Okay, we're going to try to identify these particular signs by their shape. The first shape that we'll be looking at is the octagon. And when we turn the octagon around, let's see what we find. We find the stop sign. The triangle is a three-sided figure, and it normally means to yield, that is, to give up your right-of-way to proceed in favor of someone else. Now, let's take a look at the third sign, and that is a diamond. It is probably a rectangle or a square turned on its sides, and it normally means warning. Be prepared. You know, there's something, there's maybe an impending danger. In this case, you can see we have a pedestrian in a crosswalk. The fourth sign is a rectangle or a square, however you prefer to refer to it, and this is maybe a warning sign, a guide sign, or a regulatory sign. And we find out in this case it is regulatory, that is white and red. The fifth shape is the pennant, and it's a triangle turned on its side. You've probably seen it when you go to the ballpark or perhaps to a football game, and it normally indicates such things as no passing. And in this case, again, it does mean no passing. It's a warning because it's yellow. The sixth sign is a pentagon, which is a five-sided sign. And you might be able to tell from the shape of the sign what this one is. Let's see. Okay, this is a pedestrian crossing at a school. Now, the sixth sign is normally in the shape of a shield, and you've seen it perhaps on interstate highways. It's probably red, white, and blue, and it normally indicates road markings. The next type is the cross bucket. It is shaped like this, and it will normally say railroad crossing. And finally, we have the round type of sign that is also railroad crossing. Okay, Linda, you're going to speak to us now about colors, aren't you?
Right. The reason we deal so much with shapes of signs is that some people, of course, are colorblind, and when they're out there on the road driving, they have to recognize the signs only by the shapes. Most of us can determine colors, and the colors of the signs do have meaning also. Let's take a look at some of these colors. First of all, red and white. This is a regulatory sign, and you have to always obey what is on that sign. Generally, these will be like your stop signs. Okay? The second color is white and black. An example would be a speed limit sign, and this is also a regulatory sign. It regulates traffic, so again, you must obey what is on that sign. The third color is yellow. An example would be a stop ahead. This is a warning sign. Anytime you see yellow, you have to really watch for this color out on the road. Anytime you see yellow, it is warning you of something up ahead. So really take a close look at that one. The fourth color is orange. This means you are in a road construction area or that there are road crews out working on the road, such as on the freeway. And you'll even notice that the trucks are also painted orange when you're out on the freeways. Okay, another color that you might often see is green. This would be a freeway sign, and it's giving you information or it's guiding you in some way so that you will be able to help aid yourself in your own travels. Another color you might see would be blue. This would be like you might see this in a hospital area. You might see it when you're out on the freeways or the highways and they're telling you of rest areas. Again, this is an information or a guide or a service sign. And the last color you may see would be brown. This, again, you would see out on the freeways or the open highways, generally giving you information or guiding you to a recreation area, such as our national parks. So these are all colors you really need to be aware of, to really watch for out on the road. And just by seeing the colors alone of the signs up ahead, you'll know more or less what you're coming up to just by the colors alone, that they're giving you good information on. Okay, Howard's going to tell us now about international signs.
All right, Linda. The international picture or symbol sign, as it's referred to, is currently in the process of replacing the word sign. Now, people say, why should we get rid of the words? Why can't we just keep what we have? Well, one of the reasons that we are getting rid of the word signs and going to international picture or symbol signs is so that when drivers come from foreign countries, they will be able to recognize what the particular sign stands for based upon what the sign has on it. Now, before, we were used to seeing this type of sign where it says no passing on it, and it tells us no passing zone. Let's now take a look at some of the signs based upon their shapes and see if we can recognize them without the words. For example, the stop sign is the octagon, and it is an 8-sided figure. In Mexico, this would say alto on it, meaning stop. But if it didn't say anything on it, the color and shape would still indicate to us what it meant. Now, this particular sign, notice it has the tri-light on it, and therefore it tells us what we are what to expect. The yield sign, even though it has the words, it still tells us, in a sense, that there is going to be traffic that we will meet and we must give up our right-of-way. Notice the bike route. If we take off the words bike route, we look at the bicycle, we know what it means. The no right turn. If we take off the words, the red L with the line and the red circle around it, no right turn. The pedestrian crossing, somebody from Sweden could read this. The do not enter, the white in the center of the red circle means do not enter. And finally, children in a pedestrian crosswalk at a school zone. Again, someone from a foreign country could easily tell us what this means, because these signs have been used in Europe and other foreign countries for many years. Now, Linda, you're going to speak to us about signals, aren't you?
Other road signals that we must identify out on the road are traffic control signals. Now, generally we'll see them in a tri-light, and the top signal, of course, will be red, which means you have to stop. The middle signal will be yellow, which means it's a warning. It's warning you that the light will turn red. The yellow light does not mean that you can go ahead and enter the intersection if you're like 200 feet back. It's warning you that you must stop if possible. The last light at the bottom, of course, is green, which means go, and everything should be clear. But even on a green, you have to be very aware at an intersection that other people may be asleep at the wheel and still may decide to go. So you have to really watch for that. Now, on your signals, it could be that it's not just a stationary signal, but that it's actually flashing. If it's flashing red, it means the same thing as just a stable red light. You still have to stop, look, and then proceed with caution. If it's flashing yellow, this means that you must be very cautious when you're approaching the intersection. If there happens to be cross traffic, then you may have to stop, but you have to proceed with caution on a flashing yellow. You may also see these lights on a bus. If it's flashing red, that means, of course, that you would have to stop behind the bus. If it's flashing yellow, then again you would have to proceed with caution because it's warning you that there are children around maybe getting on and off the bus. So you have to proceed with caution. One other thing you may see in regards to signals is a walk and a don't walk sign for pedestrians. You want to, of course, you can only walk when it says walk, and when it says don't walk, that's exactly what it means, is don't walk. Another thing you may see would be an arrow. If it's a green arrow, that means you could go ahead and turn. If it would be a yellow arrow or a red arrow, again, it would mean the same as your signal. Okay, let's talk a little now about pavement markings. Howard?
Okay. Now, let's take a look, first of all, at the colors. Now, the pavement markings, as far as colors, are normally divided into two areas, and that is white and yellow. Let's take a look at white pavement markings first. Notice our white pavement markings indicate traffic that is moving in the same direction. And if you look at what we have indicated this with an arrow, all the traffic would be moving in the very same direction. Now, yellow separates traffic going in opposite directions. Separates traffic going in opposite directions. Other pavement markings that you may see would be such things as bicycle lanes, crosswalks, railroad crossings, school crossings, and pedestrian crossings. Now let's take a look at some of these examples. Okay, now you've seen most of these here, such as the pedestrian crossing and the left turn lane. Now, Linda, you're going to speak to us about the colors, aren't you?
About curb colors, right. When you're pulling over to the curb, it's very important you look to see what color it is. If it's red, of course, that means you cannot park there. It means no stopping at any time. If it's blue, that means you must leave it for handicapped persons only, and you must have a special license sticker to put on your car before you can park there. If it's yellow, that means it's a loading zone only. You can only park there for a limited time to load freight or passengers. If it's a green curb, that means it's limited parking, and it will be marked on the curb how long you can park. It may only be for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or maybe even half an hour. If it's a white curb, that means it's passenger loading zone, and you may often see this in front of a mailbox, too. It's just a very short time for parking or stopping there. Okay, now we're going to see a film that will review all of these signs and lines that we've talked about. Let's see it now.
Two or more objects moving at random in the same area without consideration for each other will inevitably meet. This is not by accident. Collision is certain. It's only a matter of when. Just as it would be on our roads and streets if there were no traffic rules. Without rules, driving would be a weird, uncontrolled horror.
Clock in the attic at 3 o'clock. This close. Hit your brakes! Brake! Step on it! Truck bearing down from the rear. Right left! No, right! Look out! Ball coming at us!
Controlling the movement of traffic with rules and laws makes driving orderly and safe. As long as everyone follows the rules and is considerate of others, we can relax and enjoy driving. Ignoring or breaking rules is doing the unexpected, and suddenly you become a threat to others who assume you are a safe driver.
Did you see that red sign back there? And the white line? They were trying to tell you something.
Signs and signals and marking lines help us avoid hazards and avoid being a danger to others. They make it easier to get where we want to go. The people who make our signs have given much thought and effort to designs which tell us quickly but we should know. It's a simple language based on shapes, picture symbols, and colors. Signs must say the same thing to everybody, no matter what language they speak, no matter where in this world they're driving. Red is the color for danger ahead. It's the stop or don't color. Please don't, or you'll be sorry. Yield the right of way. Don't continue until the coast is clear. Don't. Crossing the red line is dangerous. Don't. N-O means no. U-turn? No. Right turn? No. Trucks? No. No, whatever you see this with. Believe in red when it says stop, or don't, or no. It's only used for danger. Yellow is the warning color, to make us aware of conditions ahead that are hazardous unless approached with care. Picture maps to forewarn us. Use your gears, save your brakes. Yellow warns where the unexpected can be trouble. Signal ahead, so be ready to stop if the light is red. The sign puts a picture in your mind. A special shape on the left, where you can see it when edging out from behind another car. It works with yellow lines on the road. Yellow lines separate cars moving in opposite directions. A broken yellow line means passing's okay if the other lane is clear. But a solid yellow line on your side means dangerous to pass. No, don't try it, because you won't be able to see far enough ahead to pass safely. A solid line on the other side of the broken line means you can pass, but cars coming the other way can't. A double yellow line means no passing in either direction. So no matter how urgent your hurry or how slow the car in your way, if you start to pass when you shouldn't, well, I wouldn't. Now it's okay. Pass? Yes. No. Yes. No. 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 Yellow is to ring an alarm in your mind that alerts you to hazards ahead. Orange is the construction and maintenance color. Orange warns us of temporary road conditions that are quite different than you would normally expect. Orange warns us to be alert for the unexpected. Black and white are the rules and regulations colors. Not here. It's a rule. Rules. Rules. At signals and stop signs, we should stop behind the white line. White lines mark pedestrian crossing areas and turning lanes and traffic lanes. White guides cars going in the same direction. Yellow separates opposite directions. Together, they mark rules and spaces, as easy to follow as the nose on your face is. Where to? How far? Green is the color for where you are and where you want to go. Which way? This way. How much further to go? Oh. Green is for information related to road maps. If you know where you're going, green will help you get there. On your way, if you need to phone, blue's the tone for signs of services. Blue signs help you have a pleasant trip. Blue for when you need help. Brown is the guide color for parks and recreation areas. When you're footloose and fancy-free, brown signs will help you enjoy your vacation. This particular shape is reserved for recreational signs. Other shapes are reserved for special purposes. This shape always means stop. This shape always means yield. This shape is for warnings of road hazards or construction hazards. School shape for school signs. The lines mean where the kids cross, and they have the right of way. Only for no passing, nowhere else. Signs and lines speak a universal language. So many other countries use the same ones we do. Many are used worldwide. If you were driving from Russia to Kuwait or from Helsinki to Bangkok, you know what this means, right? And if you saw this in Ecuador and this in Rwanda, uh-oh, the sign says no. Service signs are a little different than ours, though just as easy to read in countries using what is called the United Nations sign system. But their warning signs use a red triangle instead of our yellow diamond. The symbols are much alike. All countries are cooperating towards international uniformity of colors, shapes, and pictures, but some local differences persist, like slippery signs in France, or one-way signs in Austria or Germany. And would you understand these? There are still signs that don't speak to all. If you saw this in Italy or Germany, would you know it means no parking? And this means no stopping? In Morocco, Iceland, and many other countries, it means no parking, and this means no stopping. In Belgium, this means no stopping or parking on the left side on odd days and on the right on even days. Surely you know this means the same thing in other countries. In many countries, this means no bicycles. So what does this mean? All bikes must follow this route. It's coming, but we don't yet have complete international uniformity. Anytime you don't understand a sign or a line, it's up to you to find out exactly what it means. It's your responsibility as a driver to know. Ignorance is no excuse. I didn't see it is no excuse either. Just proof that you are not alert. Not a good driver. Good drivers are alert, considerate of other drivers, and they know their colors, shapes, and picture symbols, their signs and lines.
All right, that was a really interesting film. Now, for your activity today, we have 3 sections. First of all, we'd like you to take out a sheet of paper and list the 5 colored curb markings and their meanings. Secondly, we want you to diagram a traffic light and label the color of each signal. And third, we want you to remove this page from your syllabus, and on this page we want you to label each of these signs and indicate what color they are and what kind of sign they are, whether they're regulatory, warning, or whatever. Again, color and kind for all 8 shapes. Okay, Linda?
Yes, let's go take a look at signs out in the real world, Howard. Let's go.
Okay. Hey, where are all those signs you were talking about, Linda?
Well, let's take a look here. We have a stop sign here.
Oh.
Remember, it's an 8-sided sign, and it's also red and white, which shows that it is a regulatory sign. It is regulating
Right.
traffic.
Here we have a warning sign, and this is the Pentagon, and it's 5-sided, and it's a school indicating a school crossing zone, and those are, of course, youngsters in the crosswalk.
Right. And here we have a green sign, which is an information or a guide sign, and in this case, it's giving us information that this is a bike route here,
Right.
and that we would have to especially watch for bicyclists.
Right. Here we have another regulatory sign, and it's red and white, of course, the indicating no right turn with the arrow to the right and the red line through it being surrounded by a red circle. And again, it tells us what we what we can or cannot do.
And eventually, with the international picture signs, it could be that they'll just eventually take off the words and we'll only have the picture. So we must be able to read the picture. And here we have a warning sign again because it's got a yellow background. And it's warning us that there is a traffic signal light up ahead controlling the intersection.
Here comes another regulatory sign, again, red and white, do not enter, very important sign, and even if the words were not there, the white block within the red circle would indicate do not enter. So we have to be aware of these types of signs as well.
Right. Oh, and here we have another warning sign showing us that there is a crosswalk up ahead and we must watch for pedestrians.
Right. Hey, where is that guy? Where is that guy? Let's see.
I don't know. What did happen to him, Howard?
I don't
Let me
know.
try it. Howard? Howard?